I'm Bill Gruby from Philips Medical Systems. I'm the product manager for the HeartStart MRX monitor defibrillator. Today I'm going to talk about qCPR, which offers measurement and feedback for both of the primary components of CPR, both chest compressions and ventilations. To measure ventilations, the MRX uses standard defibrillation pads. These pads can detect changes in chest impedance, which correlate to ventilation volume. To measure chest compressions, the MRX uses a small, reusable compression sensor. This sensor measures not only the motion but also the force associated with chest compressions. On the back of the sensor, there's a small adhesive pad which can be used to affix the sensor in place on the patient's chest. Once in place, the sensor acts as a permanent landmark while you're doing CPR. The defibrillation pads are placed in the standard anterior positions. The compression sensor is placed in the same location that the heel of your hand would be for doing compressions during CPR. Prior to placing the compression sensor on the patient's chest, peel back this liner to expose the adhesive surface. This adhesive holds the sensor in the correct position. Then, both the defibrillation pads and the compression sensor are connected to the MRX at the therapy port. Now that the setup is complete, I'll select our adult defibrillation setting of 150 joules. The CPR coaching will begin when I start my compressions. The MRX will provide both audio and visual coaching as I do my chest compressions. If my performance falls outside of the American Heart Association guidelines, I'll be prompted to make a correction. Otherwise, the device will be silent. Now I'm not going fast enough.
Compress a little faster.
At this point, my compressions are not deep enough.
Compress deeper.
Now I'm going too fast.
Compress slower.
At this point, I'm compressing too deep.
Don't compress so deep.
If I haven't done a compression for 15 seconds, it will prompt me to start again.
15 seconds without compressions.
The MRX uses standard defibrillation pads to detect changes in chest impedance that correlate to ventilation volume. As I ventilate the patient, qCPR uses these measurements to provide coaching on both rate and volume. With both ventilation rate and volume consistent with American Heart Association guidelines, audio coaching is silent. However, if either component is too high or too low, voice prompts and on-screen indicators direct you back to the target range. Code view of the MRX includes large numeric values for the heart rate and event timer. Wave sectors 1 and 2 are combined for an enlarged view of the ECG waveform. The lower parameter bar includes the qCPR parameters. Compression rate is shown in compressions per minute, no flow time is shown in seconds, ventilation rate is shown in respirations per minute, and the ventilation volume icon is shown on the right side of the parameter bar. Wave sector 3 shows the compression waveform with the indicators for the American Heart Association guidelines for depth. The lowest wave sector 4, can be populated with entitled CO2, as I'll now show. qCPR can also be activated in AED mode.
Analyzing heart rhythm. Do not touch the patient. Paused.
CPR coaching is provided while we're paused for CPR. In AED mode, the qCPR voice prompts are enunciated the same way they are in code view. However, the visual feedback provided by qCPR is in the form of text messages in the center of the screen. There is no compression waveform in this mode. Now I'm not going fast enough.
Compress a little faster.
At this point, my compressions are not deep enough.
Compress a little deeper.
Now I'm going too deep.
Don't compress quite so deep.
If I haven't done a compression for 15 seconds, it will prompt me to start again.
15 seconds without compressions. Seconds without compressions.
The volume of the qCPR voice prompts can be adjusted either up or down using the main menu of the MRX. Going to Volume, Voice.
If needed, begin CPR. If needed, begin CPR. If needed, begin CPR.
The qCPR voice prompts can be muted with 2 presses of the menu button. When they've been muted, there's an indication on the screen. The voice prompts can then be reactivated with 2 more presses of the button. If CPR is not needed, the CPR subview can be turned off, and wave sector 3 can be used for another parameter, for example, SpO2. As you've just seen, qCPR is easy to set up, easy to use, and easy to experience. There's virtually no extra weight. The compression sensor is the only added equipment, and it weighs about half a pound. Once you apply the defibrillation pads and compression sensor to the patient's chest and select the desired therapy mode, CPR measurement and feedback begins. This one-of-a-kind tool assists in performing quality CPR to improve a patient's chance of survival and increase the opportunity for a complete recovery. In addition, it reinforces CPR training with each and every use. qCPR technology by Laerdal is only available on Philips HeartStart MRX monitor defibrillator.